Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nina and today I have a new episode from my series called What's Flowering in My Indoor Garden. And now we are in the month of May, but these are my blooms from April 2022. I hope you enjoyed them. But before I start this video, I want to show you something something very cute. I hope you find it cute too.
Okie dokie. And what do you do with your rainbows?
I take care of them.
You take care of them. And what do you find in the end of the rainbow?
A bucket of gold.
You find a bucket of gold in the end of the rainbow.
That's really true. I saw it 10 times ago.
Huh?
It's true. It's true.
It's true. Miss Rainbow, I want one of these gold.
It's still at the end of the rainbow.
Oh, but I want some. Can I have some?
Yes, you can have it tomorrow.
Before I show you the new blooms, I'm gonna show you now some of the plants that were in bloom in the month of March and they are still in bloom in April. And actually, we are in the beginning of May now, so some of them are still in bloom now. So they are long-lasting orchid flowers. As you can see on these images, especially on these videos, I'm showing you that I display all of my blooms around my windowsills in my living room, because that's the place where I work and where I spend most of my time. And I like to look at my flowers and enjoy them while their blooms last. So that's why they are all here together. As you can see, most of the ones that I showed you last month are still in bloom here. Something very interesting about the blooms from last month and the ones that are still in bloom this month, some of them look even better than last month because, I don't know, their flower spike has branched out or the blooms are fully opened now. So it can happen a lot, especially with Phalaenopsis, just to let you know. The first flower that I'm showing you today is not an orchid. It's a little bit different and I think it's okay. I really want to show you that my begonia, it's a Rex begonia. I don't know its ID. Someone gifted me a cutting of this one. And what I love the most about this begonia is the leaves. Begonias has something that I found very, very interesting is that their leaves are not symmetrical. If you look at most leaves of plants, they are symmetrical. But begonias, they are not. Nature is incredible, isn't it? But this one opened some flowers and it's looking so nice and so bushy, as you can see. This begonia has red leaves and I love red leaves. And also it's a little bit metallic. That's how I would describe it. So to be honest, for me, it makes a huge difference to have this red among all of my green-leaved plants. I love it so much and it's blooming. So I want to show you that this month. I hope you enjoy it. As always, let's start with Phalaenopsis. I have some Phalaenopsis in bloom, new Phalaenopsis. I think I have these complex hybrids blooming for the whole year. Some of them are spiking and they are spiking later. That's okay. It means that I have new blooms. So the first one that I'm showing you here, it's one that I saved last year. So I bought from a local supermarket. It was very dehydrated. I probably showed you one of her friends, quote unquote, that I bought 4 Phalaenopsis. They were almost dying at the supermarket, very dehydrated. So I noticed that they were small, or they look like small Phalaenopsis. So I decided I'm going to try to save them. They were very cheap. They were like 20p. So what happened is this one was the first one to bloom for me. It bloomed already last year. And during this winter, it produced a cake, a basil cake. But the mother plant is healthy. It's producing new leaves and everything. It's growing, but it produced a basil cake. And the keiki decided to bloom, so it's very mature and young plant. And this flower spike that you are seeing now, it's coming from the keiki, not the mother plant. I decided to keep them both together. I will not separate them because I think next year I can have a beautiful display having two Phalaenopsis together, producing many flowers, and I don't think it will harm them. They are both healthy, and I'm happy to keep both of them in the same pot. As you can see, this is a Phalaenopsis no ID. It's a complex hybrid. It takes the same care of all of the other Phalaenopsis hybrid. It's, I think, the only white Phalaenopsis that I have in my collection at the moment. It's white with a almost red lip, like the center, it's red and has some dots. I really love this plant because, as I mentioned, I saved it. And I think when we saved them, they have a special meaning for us. So, and I'm happy that the keiki is blooming as well. I hope you enjoy this one. The next Phalaenopsis, it's a different, it's not white, as you can see, just to show you some colors. This one was gifted to me by my in-laws, I think 2 months ago, so it is a new plant. I have already reported. It's another complex hybrid. It's a very tiny and compact Phalaenopsis. I love its colors because it's in between a pink and red, so the tone of the plant is really, really beautiful. I have no idea about its ID, so if you have one that looks similar to it, and if you have any idea about what it could be, possibly be, let me know. I know that I can't identify it, but it would be nice to have at least an idea, and I could give it a tag just for me, for myself. What I can say about this Phalaenopsis is the same care and everything else, that it's tiny and also has a very mild, sweet fragrance. It has a floral fragrance, but it's very mild. And another thing as well is that the lips are a little bit glossier than most of the Phalaenopsis that we found in supermarket. Like the one that I showed you before, the petals are very thin. These one are a little bit thicker and glossier. So the next Phalaenopsis that I'm gonna show you, it's also a no ID. I'm sorry, today I have only no IDs for you. I bought this no ID at the local supermarket, and what caught my attention in here was something about the pattern and color of the flowers. What happened with this flower is, it's a pyloric flower, which means that in this case, the petals are trying to mimic the lip. As you can see, they are trying to close up like the lip does. It's not the kind of pyloric that I like, but there is something different. If you look, it's also a big-lipped Phalaenopsis. So the lip is not small, it's larger as well. I really like it, especially one of the flowers that looks really, really nice. I hope they look like that in the future. The symmetry in this flower, and also the pattern, the color with the white background and the purple, and how everything it's mixed on this hybrid. I like it very much. And it's also a very compact Phalaenopsis. It's tiny, tiny, tiny. I still need to report it, but I find it interesting. It's something different from what I usually go for. But when I saw it, I said, oh, I'm gonna get it. So I think this one was also the last plant that I bought, and I told myself many times, probably I won't have many new plants, so I'm trying to keep it a little bit low. Let's see. Next, something different for you. This one is my Coelogyne ovalis. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to pronounce as I would pronounce in my mother tongue, so I'm going to say ovalis, but you have the name here. This one, I bought it from the Williton project, Williton School. If you live in the UK, you probably know them. It's a project that teaches students about orchids and propagation and conservation. And on top of that, they sell some of the orchids offsprings on Etsy. So sometimes you can find some young orchids and even mature orchids on Etsy. They don't have a big stock. So sometimes you go to their store, you won't find anything. And sometimes you have a new stock. So you have to keep an eye on that. I think it's really nice because it's also when you buy one orchid from them, you are supporting the project. So I met some of the students in the orchid show that I visited here in the UK. This is my only Coelogyne. I don't have any others, so I don't have experience with Coelogyne. But what I can say about this one, I know that it is a species, but it's so easy to care for. I don't find it to be a difficult plant or fussy plant at all. Basically, I remember that when I reported, the roots were fine. It didn't suffer so much or anything. It bloomed afterwards. So it's a very easy to grow plant. It needs its humidity. It loves water. But more than that, I don't find anything difficult about this plant. The only thing is you need to have a large pot because it keeps growing everywhere and is very unruly. So I had to report it. The stem was getting very long and was almost getting out of the pot. That's the only thing. But the plant in itself, it's very easy to care for. And what I like about this one, it's because its flowers, they are yellow with a brown center. As you can see, like fuzzy center, fuzzy lip. And they remind me of an insect with anthen. So if you imagine a bee with its anthen, or I don't know, there are many other insects with anthen. Maybe I will ask Bruno to place a picture here on the screen, but that's what it reminds me. Another thing about these flowers is that they have a fragrance, but it's a very, very mild one. And it smells like grass. So it's not the most amazing thing in the world, but it's mild. So it's okay. If you have scent sensitivity, if you don't like strong smells and this kind of stuff, this plant won't bother you. I know because I do have, and that it doesn't bother me. Now I have here the plant I was expecting to see its blooms the most, and also the frustration of this month as well. This is my Renanthera monachica. It's a Vandaceous orchid that blooms once a year. Usually it blooms around springtime. It has beautiful flowers with red dots in a yellow-orange background. It is easy to care for, but it's also a highlight plant. So if you don't live in a tropical country or if you can't offer a very bright window, you probably need some artificial lighting for this one because it requires highlight in order to bloom. The problem for me with this plant, I was super excited. It's the first time that I'm seeing its blooms. And I noticed during winter time that I would have 2 flower spikes. And I was like, oh my gosh, I will see many blooms together. And I was expecting and I'm so happy with the blooms and how they would look like and all of these expectations that people that have plants, they understand me at this moment. I hope so. The problem is I work full time and I was for 3 months without working, but now I'm working full time again. And I'm also a mother, as you probably noticed. I have always my daughter around here. So with all the routine of working full time, plus job, plus personal life and everything else, I was underwatering some of my plants, especially we had some heat wave, I don't know how many weeks ago, and I wasn't here and I couldn't water my plants properly. The thing is, it got dehydrated. I could see in the leaves and I could see it felted, especially because it's potted in a terracotta pot. Terracotta is great, but the thing is, it transpires, so it loses water quickly because the pot breathes. So you need to be on top of your watering. I know that's a Vandaceous orchid and everything, but I wasn't on top of my watering. So what happened is the plant got stressed, extremely stressed. And if you have any experience with plants and orchids, you know that stress, it's a recipe for bud blast, losing flowers and all of these. What happened was, unfortunately, the buds blasted and also one of the flower spikes is drying. So I have only one flower spike with 2 flowers. And that's everything that I'm getting this year, which is fine. I understand. I know, it was my fault. So I have next year now. Let's see what happens. Hopefully I have a little bit more time or be more careful with this one. I'm considering repotting it and potting it probably in a plastic pot because I'm not keeping up and the summer is coming. So yeah, that happens as well. It's not the most successful story, but it happens so often. Now I have here, for me, it's the highlight of this month. Let me know what you think down below. That's my purple vanda. It's a big vanda. And they bloomed for me, I think, in January this year. But the blooms were not so nice like they are now. I think I have more blooms, more flowers now than I had in January. And I think it is looking amazing. The thing about this vanda is that the flowers are large and that the color is also amazing. So I love it. I love it so much. You need to have space for a vanda like this one because they are huge. But the flowers are gorgeous. I do think they make such a statement piece in your home if you have the space for it, I must say. And another thing is mine is potted. I would advise you to pot it if you don't have time to water it too much because even in terracotta pot, now that's getting warm, it's requiring me to water it quite frequently, even for a vanda. But it's very easy to care for. I don't think they are fussy plants or difficult plants in any way. And that the blooms are beautiful. The only thing that I would say is that you need space for all of this size. Sorry, my voice is not amazing today, just to let you know. But I hope you can understand what I'm saying. The last plant today that I have here is my Paphiopedilum Pinocchio. I didn't show you this plant last month because I didn't bloom it. I bought it in bloom. But now, because it will continue to bloom and it's blooming in my care, I want to show you this month. It's quite nice because basically you have a Paphiopedilum that is blooming and blooming and blooming. If you have many Paphiopedilums, you know they are quite slow. So at least this one, when it blooms, it will keep blooming for a while. And it has produced so far 4 blooms for me. What I found about these blooms, they are not huge like the Paphiopedilum that I showed you last month. They're a little bit tinier, smaller, with a purple pouch, but it's full of hair. If you look at the petals, I don't know if in Paphiopedilums they are called petals. Please let me know down below. That's also my fault. I should have researched it. But yeah, you can see hair all over the flower. And I found it so cute. They are so hairy. So yeah, I think they look exotic. At least that's what I can say. Another thing about it, it's a green-leafed one, but it's small. It's not a huge Paphiopedilum. So it's a good plant if you want to keep it anywhere in your house. And I find it, I don't have it for longer, so I can't tell you many details. I think Paphiopedilums are very easy to look after. And this one, it's so easy. It seems to be a very healthy plant. So no concerns. I didn't have any leaf dieback or any problem with this plant. So yeah, and I found the flowers so unique. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. And also let me know which of these plants were your favorite, which one you like the most. I would love to hear from you. But before I let you go, I have something else to say. I have here, because I didn't have so many blooms or different things to show you this month, I want to update you in a few things. So I have here on the screen now some plants and some probably good stuff that are coming in the next months. fingers crossed. One of it is my Miltonia Sunset. It bloomed for me last year. It produced maybe like 4 or 5 spikes. It was beautiful. And it was blooming for like 3 months, I think. And now it will bloom again. As you can see, I have here a flower spike. Another very, very exciting thing that I have coming soon is my Phalaenopsis Sogovivian. I think it's a Sogovivian. I don't have an ID. I found it at the local supermarket. Yay! It's a variegated Phalaenopsis. I'm gonna be honest that I prefer mottled leaves one than the variegated ones with Phalaenopsis, not with houseplants. It's funny, but I do like them as well. For me, they are a mixture of a snake plant with an orchid. I do find that the leaves remind me of snake plants. Anyway, but it will bloom now soon. And I'm so happy because I broke the last flower spike. So now it's decided to rebloom. Talking about the fact that my Phalaenopsis, some of them are late. Another one that will bloom soon that has this flower spike is my orange Phalaenopsis, is Phalaenopsis Shingrace Gold Stuff. It's a complex hybrid as well that produces many blooms that if you look from distance, they are very orange. But when you come closer, it's basically a dark purple on a yellow background or something like that it becomes orange. So it will bloom soon as well. And before I end this video, the last flower spike that you are seeing now is it's a beautiful radium Oncidium. The flowers are not large, they are small, but they are like a deep red burgundy color. And usually each produces many, many blooms together. It's beautiful. I find it so, so beautiful. Just to let you know, I think I'm quite good with Oncidiums, and I think my climate's perfect for it as well. Not so good with Cattleyas, so you may not see many Cattleyas for now. I'm trying to get it right. At some point I will. But Oncidiums, wait and see. I think I will have many blooms to show you soon. I can see so many plants spiking now. So hopefully until summer, we will have a party of Oncidiums or a carnival of colors to remind me of my country. Yeah, that's what I want to tell you today. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you do enjoy it, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. It helps me a lot. Let me know your thoughts down below. And also I have an Instagram where I post pictures of these plants. It's called One Orchid a Day. So if you want, you can definitely visit it. I show many pictures of my blooms there. And yeah, that's it. And I hope to see you around soon. Thank you very much. Bye bye.